I'm going to put this back in here. Thank you so much, Joan, for that introduction. I'm going to take off my shoes. As you saw, I had to have help getting down here. That was my husband, Madison, and I guess I'll have to hold it. And I just want to thank him for getting me and my family here all the way from North Carolina. He's my support. He had to support me down those steps, and he's definitely my support and my advisor and my teacher and all the other good stuff that I won't say because kids are in the room. He is that to me. I want to say good afternoon and thank you to our guests and family and friends for being here today. First, I'd like to say that I am grateful for the opportunity to remember and uplift those who are assaulted or taken from us by crimes that are still today unthinkable and heart-wrenching. I do consider it an opportunity to be here, and I hope that my words will comfort you, and I hope to encourage you to continue to remember your loved one, keep them in prayer, and then use that time and energy and pain that you may feel to keep this crime that may have occurred to them from happening to someone else. I hope my words will motivate you to reshape your future and honor the past. I identify with the pain of many of you here today. I have felt terrified, depressed, and like I couldn't make it anymore. I prayed to God to remove me from this earth because the pain was so great. And when he didn't oblige me, I considered methods to remove myself from this earth. I experienced all those feelings between the age of 4 and 12. I was molested and raped by my father repeatedly, and I believed that there was no one I could trust with this information. So I know what it feels like to be hurt, to feel angry, and to hate to such a degree that you come to a point where you make a decision, whether you recognize it or not, to either get even or make a difference. Whether you recognize it or not, that is the decision you are making. If you choose to take your own life, to hurt others, or to just give up and go about your day letting it happen as it may happen, I'm here to tell you that your decision is revenge. But if you purpose in your heart not to be a victim, not to participate in negative thinking, to tell someone until someone listens and helps you, and to help prevent someone else from having to bear this pain, it is then that you make a decision to make a difference. My point to you is that whether you do or don't do anything, you are making a decision. The only time in your life you are not making a decision is when someone victimizes you. Before that and after that, you make the decisions. So you might say then, how do I begin the healing process? How can I make the right decision and get to a place of healing? How can I get to a place where I remember and pray when I feel so heart-wrenchingly disabled sometimes? Breathe. I suggest you breathe and take a breath for the person you love, because your loved one can continue to live or die through you. Then remove the thoughts of yourself and ask God for helpful thoughts. Ask him to bless you to see the needs of others and to bless you to remember what your loved one liked and need it the most, and to bless you to be dedicated to give exactly that to whoever you can. I'll divert here for a moment and tell you a story, because I felt all those feelings that I mentioned to you earlier between the ages of 4 and 12. Then again, around 23 and 24, I started to become very depressed because I started to think about all those issues again. And I started to ask the questions why and just become really upset. And there was one day that a person that I really admire was on television doing a show, and I was watching that show, and she said those simple words of, "Don't always think about yourself." And it occurred to me that I could just, for one day, make a decision that I would think about other people. And if it worked for that one day, I keep doing it. So I didn't have much of anything, but I looked around my house and decided anything that I wasn't using, obviously somebody else could, and I get rid of it. And I set my heart that anything that could possibly come up, that it didn't cost money because I didn't have any, I would do it. And so I had what they call a yard sale, except all my stuff was free. And people kept walking past my table because they didn't understand why the table said free stuff instead of prices. And I decided that anything that I could donate, blood or anything, somebody was asking, I donate. And that worked the first day and the second day and the third day. And I realized that helping other people, not concentrating on myself, was actually healing me. So I just want to share that story with you because it's very difficult when you're feeling pain and when you feel like things are unfair to get past that point. And it's very easy for someone who hasn't felt pain to tell you to stop thinking about yourself and to think about others. So I just want to share with you that I have felt pain similar to what you have felt and that it works. Thank you. The next step that I want you to concentrate on is to believe that you are capable of doing just what I've talked about. Believe it with all the energy that was once used for pain and anger and revenge. That is how you remember and pray and begin to make a difference. So then you might say, how can I keep this from happening to somebody else? And you get through the remembering and the praying, but you might feel like, I don't want to get involved outside of myself or my loved ones. It's far too overwhelming. I feel better now, and I'm beyond this revenge stage, so I don't want to approach people or this situation that occurred. Maybe you don't want to be involved with the police or the lawyers or the courts. You don't want to upset your friends and your family and your community. You may not even want your name associated with this crime. And so this is the step you deem unnecessary and unreachable. I'd like to encourage you to reconsider that thought. As an individual that has severely suffered pain emotionally and physically, I purpose to you that if you are to receive true healing, you must complete the process of remembering, praying, and helping someone else. Remembering and praying are not enough. Yes, it will aid you, and you can go back to it every time you feel those negative feelings that may be so familiar to you at this time. Sometimes it just hits you, but sometimes you know when the feeling is coming days before it actually sets. And you dread the days after it has settled because you fear what others who have encountered you during this time are feeling about you. So on top of your pain and depression, you now feel shame and guilt. So while remembering and prayer will relieve you from this, you will have to keep doing this process. In the same instance, you might take a Tylenol or drug or alcohol. I want you to My goal today is to get you to a place of healing. to get you to a point where if you feel that negativity trying to attack you, you can immediately remove it. You can continue with your life and your loved one living through you. Excuse me. I want you to be prepared in the same manner you might see a baby beginning to whine and you give him his pacifier. Or if you expect it's about to rain, so you bring your umbrella. You know the rain is coming, so you're prepared. And when it rains, you put your umbrella up and you don't get wet. To accomplish this step, you must report crime to the appropriate officials, because that is your duty if you have knowledge a crime has occurred to you or others. Whether it occurred today or yesterday or 20 years ago. You must report crime to the appropriate officials. I won't pretend that this is an easy step. I was only able to do this a few years ago myself. You must be willing to follow through with this process until the end, even if it hurts. You must be willing to accept the outcome without desiring your own agenda. So you cannot decide the punishment. You must be willing to forgive and willing to forgive for yourself. And finally, you must be willing to hold your head up while you do it. And make a decision that while you're here on this earth, you will make a difference. You must breathe a breath for those you love and outweigh the negativity that may surround you with positive energy that lifts you and those around you. So you have remembered and prayed and helped others by asking, believing, and receiving. In this manner, you can hold your head up and you can experience a life that is pleasing to God. You can experience the best revenge of all. I am reminded of a song that is part of my daily thoughts. It says, everything that the devil stole, God's giving it back to me. And I always rephrase this song when I sing it, because I believe you have what you say. And I sing, everything that the devil stole, God's given, past tense, it back to me. I have joy. I have peace. I have faith. I've got everything, present tense. I pray, friends and family, that you will have everything God has for you. God bless and thank you.